What's up, A to Z Sports Live on a Friday. Happy to have everybody along. We have some new information when it comes to Kyler Murray and his quarterback contract that happened yesterday. So we did tease a topic about Treylon Burks, an offensive rookie of the year, that we will put on the shelf and maybe get to early next week as we approach the beginning of training camp. Titans on the practice field for the first time on Wednesday. So we'll get back to that Treylon Burks rookie of the year conversation that we've had, because I've got some analytics and some numbers for that. But today is all about Kyler Murray getting a bag, 5 years, $230+ million, and what that means, and gives us another data point and what it says about the Titans' spending habits when it comes to their roster construction. And so we'll dive in, and I think Zach has a very strong opinion on this topic, and then we'll ask you guys a question where you have multiple choice. So you got three options with this question. We'll ask about the Titans and their franchise philosophy on constructing their roster to reach the ultimate goal. Then we will talk about the two quarterbacks that you see on your screen, Kyler Murray, Ryan Tannehill. One guy is now way more expensive than the other, both very expensive. But we're going to have a good conversation about who you'd rather have this season alone. And then it is Friday, which means ain't that good news every Friday to wrap up our week and send us all to a good weekend. And Zach, it's the last weekend without football activities.
I'm glad you got that. I'm glad you got that out of the way, because that is one of our main rules: is good news can't be football.
Football's back.
Football is always good news.
Yes, that's right.
That's right. Preseason football is better news than no football, and preseason football is a struggle at times. But training camp is fun. You know, you get to see those matchups. Joint practices are very fun, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're two of those coming up next month.
We'll have two of those. And so, this is going to be a pretty exciting month and a half leading up to September 11th versus the New York Football Giants. And man, it's going to be good. So a lot to talk about, a lot to discuss here on a Friday as Kyler Murray gets paid, and we're going to twist that. And I think it's a good conversation into how it has influenced and could influence the Tennessee Titans and how they are run moving forward. We are broadcasting live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. If you are watching on YouTube, go ahead and like that video and subscribe to our YouTube page. We will tweet out the YouTube each segment, that link on our Twitter at A to Z Sports. You can follow us there. That's at ATOZ Sports on Twitter. So if you're on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe, because we got a ton of highlights on the horizon starting next week when Vrabel goes to the podium and starts his opening training camp press conference, and then it's go time. Practice clips, Derrick Henry, Treylon Burks, hopefully on the practice field, not off the practice field. You've got Robert Woods. Is that knee brace going to stay on, or is it coming off? We're going to find out about that.
He tried to ditch it. Robert Woods tried to ditch the knee brace several times throughout minicamp, and the coach was like, no.
And then the two $80 million men, Bud Dupree and Harold Landry. So a ton of storylines. Look, Austin, Jeffrey Simmons, you predicted July that he would get that bag. No bag so far.
Well, we'll find out what happens with that. But let's
July's
get this thing.
Not over. July's not over. So subscribe to our YouTube channel. We've got tons of content coming out over the next 5-6 months. So it's a good thing to go ahead and subscribe. Facebook, what's going on there? Bottom left corner of your screen. Share now to public. Sharing is caring, and caring is sharing. We need to pop up in your Facebook friends news feed. So go ahead and share the show around there. More people are going to be piling in. But for now, let's get this party started.
Let's do it on a Friday. Welcome into A to Z Sports, powered by the BetMGM app. I'm Austin Stanley. He is Zach Bingham. Make sure you follow us all over social media, as we are Nashville's on-demand sports.network, going live every weekday morning at 8 Central Time on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Find links to the show on our Twitter timeline and also our Instagram story at A to Z Sports over there as well. Plus TikTok. You're going to want to follow us on TikTok. It's great training camp coverage right there throughout the camp in the month of August. But we've got to thank our sponsors, because they make it all happen for our show. and they help out you guys with Wilson County Hyundai, wilsoncountyhyundai.com. They are located in Lebanon. Make them a part of your new car buying process by going to see them out there in Lebanon or at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. The Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Plus, Farm Bureau health plans. Get better with Farm Bureau health plans. Better coverage, better rates, better service. Learn more about a plan for you. FBHP.com/ATOZ. So I don't know about you, Zach, but I'm on this Friday. I'm feeling good. I'm not just feeling good, but I'm feeling peachy because I got myself a peach popsicle that I'm going to eat throughout the show this morning because the Magic Bucket told me to do so. So I got to get my
Ricochet Ray mentioned Traylon Burgers. I did text Austin yesterday. Like, I got a lot of responsibility within this company, probably the most responsibility of this company. Yesterday was jam-packed with meetings. And so I ate a English muffin, ham and cheese while I was going to another meeting. I had no time to stop to McDonald's. I got 5 meetings today. I'm going to try to squeeze. I will do it. I'm a man of my word in a Big Mac because the Magic Bucket did tell me to do that for lunch. So it will get done before either today or I guarantee 100% before the next Magic Buckets go around. But that was my situation yesterday. I did disclose that to Austin, and he's eating a peach popsicle here this morning.
It's actually really good. I'm almost done with it.
So the best really type of popsicles, like on there, I don't know if you got these. They're Mexican popsicles that have real fruit in them.
I mean, these have real fruit. I don't know. I mean, actually, they might be because on the back, I looked at the labels at the nutritional facts, and it's in both English and in Spanish.
Yeah.
So
yeah. You don't sleep on a Mexican popsicle. Those things are the bomb.
I wish they had a joke on the stick. That'd be more fun, but this isn't going to be that type of popsicle. But anyway, hey, here's some good news to start this Friday. George, it only took 5 minutes for Facebook to show that live notification today. I got mine too, so how about that? But let's dive into this topic that we've brought up here today, Zach, and the fact that Kyler Murray got a 5-year, $230.5 million contract from the Arizona Cardinals yesterday. And just a couple, interesting notes about this. 160 is guaranteed. 110 of it is guaranteed at signing, and $29 million signing bonus that Kyler Murray will be paid in the next 3 weeks. So his base salary this year is still that same rookie base salary that he would have gotten in year 4 regardless. But Kyler Murray got a big contract. That's a lot of freaking money from the Arizona Cardinals to dish out to Kyler Murray.
No, well, the Arizona Cardinals were kind of forced to do this. They were in the bottom of the barrel when they drafted Josh Rosen. Then they had the number 1 pick, and Cliff Kingsbury decided to trade him away and draft Kyler Murray. And Murray has been, he was rookie of the year his first year. He's a 2-time Pro Bowler. He has been very good for the Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals were in the playoffs last year, and that's where things kind of started to unravel. He had a really tough game against the LA Rams in the wild card weekend in LA. He was getting sacked. He was getting slung around. He didn't have DeAndre Hopkins, so that needs to be noted. And DeAndre Hopkins is by far their best offensive weapon. And he's not going to have DeAndre Hopkins for the first part of the season because of the PED suspension, but they can't let Kyler Murray get away. He's a young star that I think is proven very similar to Lamar Jackson is he has been able to do some of the things that he was able to accomplish at Oklahoma to win the Heisman Trophy, as Lamar Jackson did at Louisville to win the Heisman Trophy.
Did Zach's mic go out? Did your mic go out? Did Zach's mic go out, or is that just me? Yeah, your mic, Zach. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. We can't hear what you're saying. We can't hear what you're saying. We cannot hear what you're saying. Like, I don't know what happened. Try talking again. Can you hear me? It's on you. It's on your end. Everybody can hear me, right? Like, you guys can hear me. Something's up on your. You can't hear me, right? I'm going to text you. We can't hear you. We can hear me. Yeah, I mean, it's just, I mean, I don't know. This is ridiculous. I don't know what happened there, but you're gonna have to change something. I mean, staring at the computer. I mean, you can't hear me either, but he's just staring at the computer like, not hello. Switch over to like your MacBook or something like that. No, we can't hear you. All right, this is frustrating. All right, so I'm just texting him.
Can you hear me now?
Now you're back. Now you're back.
Wow, you buy a $400 microphone, you figure that it would work. Did you ever go out?
No, I never went out. Like, I heard some crackling and then you just disappeared, and then I wasn't sure if it was my headphones or what.
I got sniped.
Yeah, so you just, I mean, you could have been making the best point of your life.
I was.
So, I mean, if you want to just summarize what you were saying, because none of us heard it.
When did I cut out?
I honestly have no idea. It was very confusing. But you were talking about Kyler Murray and how he was able to do some of the things that he was successful at Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah, and like Lamar Jackson was at Louisville. Yeah. Not many players. I mean, we've seen tons of guys come out of college and not be able to achieve what they did in college and emulate the same type of things. Lamar has been able to do that. Now, he's still waiting on his contract, right? This is the last year of his contract. He's been riddled by injury. Kyler Murray has had his fair shares of injury throughout his young career. But he's 24 years old. You have to pay him. He's the best thing that the Arizona Cardinals have. And you pay him now at 24, so you get the most out of him for the next several years. This made a lot of sense. You cannot have him leave, or Arizona's going back to the bottom of and Russell Wilson just left. That's a huge factor, right? You've got some question marks with the quarterback situation in San Francisco. The Rams are the Rams, right? Super Bowl champions. But they're fixing to trade away Garoppolo. We don't know what Trey Lance is going to be. You know what you're going to get with Kyler Murray. I think he's only going to get better. This is an opportunity to now compete in the NFC West that is not as good as it used to be.
Yeah, and so I want to get to the Titans part of this, and I got to scroll back up because there was a comment that was interesting. I get through all the microphone comments first, but somebody said that the Titans have to get off the scared bus when it comes to paying their players, right? And so I want you, Zach, to kind of dive into your thought process on how this Kyler Murray contract shows and gives us all another data point about the Titans' spending habits.
The Titans have got to spend more money, and they've got to find the players that they spend on. Look at what the Rams do. Look at what the Bucks do. Look at what everybody is doing. And here is what's happening, Austin. I think, look, you made this point earlier this week, and you've made it before about the discrepancy of the wealthiest owner versus the Tennessee Titans. I mean, they're a $1 billion, they're a $1 billion organization. There's no question about that. But they're not the Dallas Cowboys and they're not the LA Rams. They're not. And the person writing the check, Amy Adams Strunk, versus some of the other owners, it is also about risk, right? If you have $8 billion, you risk less if you pay a lot of people than if you only have $2 billion or $3 billion, right? I mean, it's just simple math. Here's the thing, though. I think all of these big name franchises that are spending a lot of money are sitting there and they're predicting the future. Inflation is real, right? We know that. That's why the numbers are going up and quarterbacks are on the verge of making $50 million a year.
Yeah, Kyler Murray's contract average of $46 a year.
You have to look at what the salary cap is going to do. COVID made the NFL take a small step back, but they are about to take a giant leap forward. You can spend money. You can overspend because they're going to give you more space over the next 5 years. That's what the Bucks are doing. That's what LA is doing. That's what the Cardinals are just doing. I mean, there's so many teams that are trying to compete. The Las Vegas Raiders, look at what they have done. They're paying Derek Carr. They just traded for the best wide receiver in the league in a lot of people's eyes, in Devontae Adams. These markets are paying the big bucks. Look at Miami. What has Miami been doing?
Right.
Spending cash.
And again, there's a different, like, the salary cap's going up. That's great. But cash on hand is also important too, because Harry Titan Tough Wells says, not the Titans. The Titans aren't spending money. We'll talk about that in a second. But Mikey Flex is honestly
spending money. They're not. I'm going to get to that in a second.
But Mikey says, honestly, they're picking and choosing certain players to pay. I just don't think Amy has the money to put the guaranteed escrow. That's why the Bengals are selling naming rights to get ready for Joey B and Jamar Chase down the road, right? Like when's the last quarterback who has outperformed and performed well enough in his rookie contract that did not re-sign with his original team with a long-term deal? I have the name. No, Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is the last.
When was he drafted?
What did I say? How did I phrase the question? Because Dak Prescott is included in this, right? You include Dak Prescott in this conversation as a third-round pick?
Yeah, I think.
My point is,
I think you are right, but you also had the other quarterback that they had drafted.
But that's the point. The point is, and Baker, right? Baker Mayfield, but that's because of what happened with.
But Baker, okay, so Baker, but the point is only two in the last 10 years.
And that's my point and then Washington went the double franchise tag and then got money from Minnesota. And Titans Kyle says it's about to be Daniel Jones. No, Daniel Jones has not played well enough to earn that long-term deal. I'm talking about the quarterback whose play on the field has warranted a big contract from that team who went somewhere else.
Baker Mayfield.
He
took him to the playoffs. The Browns couldn't sniff the damn playoffs.
But the circumstance of that is because they brought in Deshaun Watson. And Joseph said maybe Jimmy G. Jimmy G got drafted by the Patriots and then traded. So that's not the same thing either.
Yeah, you're talking about rookie deal.
Yeah, I'm talking about a rookie deal like Kyler Murray. Like, of course the Cardinals kept Kyler Murray, because when's the last time that situation has not happened where the guy needs to have. I'm not talking about Mariota. I'm not talking about Jameis Winston. I'm not talking about Daniel Jones. I'm not talking about the bust or Sam Darnold. I'm talking about the guys who work out that don't re-sign.
Like Mariota went to a team and was a backup. Like that justified that he was not good enough to pay.
And Jameis was not worth it either. Like that was obvious. Like it was, and like he got an opportunity to fight for a job after he left Tampa, but Tampa's decision was made. Lamar Jackson has not been paid yet, but we feel like the Ravens are going to do it.
I think that's a wait and see type deal. I think this year really, really is going to be big for both the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson, because I think they believe in him, but they have to continuously see it, because they knew when they drafted him, his playing style, as we talked about before, is unique. It was successful in college. We've seen it be successful in the NFL, but we've also seen it hurt the franchise where they start out so well, the guy gets injured and they fall apart.
My point is, when's the last time it didn't get done with the quarterback?
Is Baker Mayfield and Kirk Cousins.
With Baker Mayfield, they brought in Deshaun Watson.
But he deserved it. Like that is warranted. That was warranted. That was the question. So if you want to really go to the question,
before
Baker Mayfield was warranted.
Throw out Baker Mayfield because of the ridiculous Deshaun Watson.
You can't. I mean, that's what it is.
I'm trying to look back in history, Zach. I'm trying to find another time that it hasn't.
It just happened.
God dang. Come on, dude. I'm trying to play this exercise game of another example where Baker and the Browns never got into negotiations. They never got that far.
But he warranted a new contract. He changed their franchise.
I don't disagree with that. I'm saying, when's the last time a quarterback on a rookie deal who was playing at a high enough level to get paid was in a negotiation with the team that drafted him, where the negotiation failed and that guy went somewhere else?
Again, we are down to 2. That's it.
Yeah, and that's And that's kind of the point that it always happens. It always kind of works out. So
what's the point of that exercise?
That the Cardinals were going to make it happen regardless. But does this impact the Titans whatsoever? That's kind of my thought, was to get to that point. How does this impact the Titans?
I know, but what was the point? What was the point of that exercise? That's what I'm asking.
Is that it always happens. Like whenever a quarterback deserves to get paid, it always finds a way to happen.
So the Titans are trying,
regardless of market size, regardless of cash, that the team figures out how to make it happen.
And George brings up Drew Brees. That was injury, right, for the San Diego Chargers.
Tore his shoulder up. Yeah,
but he obviously no. But so Drew Brees is in this conversation because he was wanted. Now he was wanted by numerous teams. We all know that whole deal with the Miami Dolphins.
Dolphins wouldn't medically clear him. Like that's
right.
There's a difference in that.
But he was a starting quarterback, right? I mean, so there's three now. Look, that's why we have the chat. What about Carson Wentz?
Carson Wentz did he warrant the contract? Like he is kind of in the Baker Mayfield thing. Like, but his play dropped off.
I mean, he fits the criteria. Now we're up to 4. Look, this is why we have the chat. You asked the question, we're answering it. You've got Baker, you've got Kirk Cousins, you got Drew Brees, you got Carson Wentz so far.
I don't even know if Carson Wentz applies because they traded him. And he got the extension. The Eagles paid Carson Wentz. They paid him $33 million a year, and then they traded his bum.
And then they traded him. That's fair.
So you can take that off the board.
I'll take it off. So we're to 3 right now.
In the last 18 years, because Brees happened in 2003, 2004.
So look, again, that exercise kind of got us sidetracked on what we were talking about. And what we're talking about is the Titans spending habits. That doesn't have anything to do with Titans spending habits.
No, the Titans spending habit. The market size doesn't matter. That was my overall point. The market size doesn't matter when it comes to paying the big
we got derailed. It's okay. Let's get back to center. And it all started back on the comment, right? The comment was the Cincinnati Bengals are in the best possible situation for a small market team that you possibly could before Kansas City was just in this, right? Kansas City had Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, and Patrick Mahomes. They drafted their guy, right? And they were a good team. They traded away Alex Smith. We all know that. They drafted their guy. They had a good core around him, and they had a good head coach. Zach Taylor, we're going to find out. That was a really damn good run that they just had to the Super Bowl last year. But they have got to now start to put their coins in the piggy bank, for lack of a better term, to start taking those coins out here in the next couple of years. The Titans have struggled, and maybe this kind of goes to the question is it justified? They just let A.J. Brown walk. I don't think anybody will ever convince me that the Titans – I believe
because you're stubborn as hell.
Paid A.J. Brown.
You're stubborn.
I think that they should have paid A.J. Brown. I think it was a dumb move. I think the negotiations obviously got messed up, right? I think both sides were at fault, but I think that them not drafting or not keeping and paying A.J. Brown is going to burn them in the long run because it goes to the spending habits. They started over, right? They started over with Treylon Burks, and we're going to find out what that is. The hard part about their spending habits is they paid Ryan Tannehill when they should have paid Ryan Tannehill. The problem is we all kind of felt that Ryan Tannehill was not an elite quarterback. So they were forced to, because of the run and the timing of the contract, to pay him $100 million off of an AFC championship run where, yes, his play yielded that, but the player did not, right? The player, Ryan Tannehill is not his play in that AFC championship run did, but the player, the ceiling of the player did not yield that.
But they were in a situation where that was the smart thing to do. And Danny asked
I agree.
Danny asked how much is Ryan Tannehill making? An average of $29.5 million a year. And Kyler Murray's just signed up for $46 a year.
Right, but Ryan Tannehill is Kirk Cousins. Cousins is Ryan Tannehill. Yeah, we know that. Finkel is Einhorn. Einhorn is Finkel. They're one and the same. They are not in it. Washington knew that. Washington literally, we talked about this. Washington literally knew the ceiling of Kirk Cousins that was not it.
And Washington's done a great job since after the double franchise.
Washington has had a front office issues, right?
They've had a lot of issues.
They had coaching issues. Like they have had a ton of issues. But the one smart thing that they did, they knew that Kirk Cousins wasn't it, that his ceiling was low. And the Titans, look, they're in a bad spot because they couldn't get rid of Ryan Tannehill this past offseason when there was a free agent frenzy. So they had to hold on to him because of the cap. But they're stuck with him. They're stuck with a non-elite quarterback that can't get him over the hump. Everybody's passed him by.
But would you rather be the Titans with Ryan Tannehill or the Washington Football Generals, Commanders without? I mean, because what's
different situations
Washington
and stages of their franchises.
But again, like look at if you focus on the quarterback decision, it's Washington dumped Kirk Cousins because they didn't want to pay him long term, right? They thought he didn't have the ceiling high enough. But then they've just been cycling through nonsense ever since.
Right. But they had other problems that yielded that nonsense. Like, I do not support Washington. I think they're an atrocious franchise. I think Dan Snyder is a very smart billionaire, but he's an idiot. Right. So, like, I do not support Washington. I think that they messed that up. But they did know that Kirk Cousins had a low ceiling. They did. And you know what?
But my point is it worth like running through a spin cycle of nothing rather than at least competing and going to the playoffs and building around a quarterback like Ryan Tannehill? Like, would you rather be the Ryan Tannehill-led Titans or the Taylor Heineke-led Washington team?
I think that the Titans have a better coaching staff and a better front office and a better owner. I think that's the reason why they've yielded better results. I mean, they had to pay. Of course, you'd rather do Ryan Tannehill. The results speak for themselves. But at the end of the day, they're both not Super Bowl champions, right?
Okay.
They're both
there's
not.
There's a lot of gap in between Super Bowl champions and Washington. That's a massive gap. And the Titans are a lot closer to the Super Bowl than they are to Washington.
But now that they are stuck in, I'm not going to officially say quarterback purgatory, but it's close. Everybody else in their conference has passed them by.
Okay. All right. So let's ask this question. Titans fans, who you guys are watching the show, do you believe, are you skeptical or out on the franchise's philosophy on building a Super Bowl contending roster? Based off of what Zach's saying about the overall philosophy and not spending on A.J. Brown, not building that way, do you believe, are you skeptical or out on the franchise's philosophy on building a Super Bowl contending roster? But first, Zach, tell us all about Wilson County Hyundai.
Yeah, Wilson County Hyundai is where you need to go to get your next ride. The perfect make and model is right around the corner at Wilson County Hyundai. Payne Bone, who family owned and operated, is a great dealership. They have your perfect car. If you're in the market for a vehicle, go to wilsoncountyhyundai.com, check out their inventory. They can order it online. You can call and go test drive it. That's what you got to feel, that fire sometimes behind the wheel. They can customize it. You can order the Ioniq, which is the battery powered vehicle, save you some money on gas so you don't have to actually pay for gas because it's battery powered, or fuel efficiency. All of their cars are fuel efficient. The Sonata, a testament right here. The Sonata is fuel efficient. The Hyundai Palisade is fuel efficient. Full-size SUV, third row seating, all the bells and whistles. They've got the Elantra, the Santa Fe. That's wilsoncountyhyundai.com.
Don't forget, download the BetMGM app. And hey, today's Friday, so existing users got something for you. You can get a no-run first inning Friday feature bet, risk-free up to $25. So any Major League Baseball game played today, you can go find in the prop bets, the game props, no runs scored in the first inning. If you place that bet, it's risk-free up to $25 because it is no run first inning Friday, every Friday throughout the summer. So check that out right there on the BetMGM app. Visit betmgm.com for terms and conditions. 21 or older, Tennessee only. All promotions subject to qualifications, eligibility requirements. Rewards issued with non-withdrawable free bets or site credit. Free bets expire in 7 days. For problem game support, call Tennessee Red Line 800-889-9789. Zach, we're asking the question for Titans fans. Are you a believer? Are you skeptical or out on the franchise's philosophy on building a Super Bowl contending roster? Because obviously the Cardinals just paid Kyler Murray $230 million. So Zach, I'll send you to the chat because there's a lot of different answers.
Before we get to those answers, some comments. Sawyer says, You can make your fans happy and compete, but I want championships. I think Sawyer's right to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
I think you get to a boiling point where competing is no longer like the Packers. They compete every year, but then they lose in the AFC Championship game or in the playoffs, and they're disgruntled. They're not happy, right? And Jason says there are 31 teams that aren't Super Bowl champions. It is very hard. And then Roger comes and says a lot of very good quarterbacks have never won Super Bowls, but very good or very few great quarterbacks have never won Super Bowls. Most great quarterbacks at least win one Super Bowl.
Yes, but there are also very few great quarterbacks.
Yes. I mean, I think there's more. This is going to be interesting over the next 10 years because don't you think there's more great quarterbacks playing today?
There's more talent, but I mean, great quarterback, like there's a lot that goes in.
You have Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady, right? Because I mean, they're older. Those are great quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes is a great quarterback.
Outside of that, if you're gonna go like elite.
I mean, Matthew Stafford is a great quarterback. Now that he's won a Super Bowl, I think you have to put him in that category.
But again, he's been a great quarterback for a long time, right?
Yeah, and he won a Super Bowl, right? So there's a great quarterback. I think Josh Allen is trending to be a great quarterback, right? Yes. I mean, he has all of the qualities. He's breaking but so there's quite a bit. Russell Wilson is a great quarterback. Now we're up to 6.
I mean I'll minus
Josh Allen.
Russell Wilson has been a great quarterback in his career. Is he still? That's what we're going to find out in Denver with a new start.
That's fair, but he's a great quarterback. I mean,
he has been. I mean, he has been in his career. I don't know. He hasn't.
If you interview people on the streets and you ask, "Is Russell Wilson a great quarterback?" They're going to say yes.
Well,
dude, went to 2 Super Bowls. He's been in the playoffs like every year in Seattle.
Made the playoffs last year.
But again, you know why.
That's my point.
That's why he's not there. It's because the franchise.
I know. That's my point. When's the last time you won a Super Bowl? When's the last time you went to a Super Bowl? It's been a few years, man. My whole point is you can't just rely on your past and still be considered great.
Is Russell Wilson a great quarterback?
If you're looking at his overall career as a career quarterback, yes. Is he in 2022? We'll find out. I don't know yet.
Yes or no? Is Russell Wilson a great quarterback in your mind?
Are you asking me about the scope?
I'm asking you right now. Is Russell Wilson a great quarterback? Yes or no?
Right now, I don't know. Right now, probably not.
So you're going to be on the fence?
I would not put Russell Wilson in the top 4 quarterbacks in the NFL, which should be limited to great. Like, you should limit that word.
So your answer is no, he's not a great quarterback.
In 2022, I don't think he's a great quarterback. He could be, but if he retired today and say, "Hey, was Russell Wilson a great quarterback in the NFL for his career?" Then yes. But in 2022 , no. Until he proves it.
That's crazy.
He hasn't been great in a couple
wildly
years.
Insane.
No, I mean, you're throwing out greats like Oprah does books.
Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes. Do they need a car? Do they need a BMW? Do they deserve that? Are they not great? Shut your mouth. Are you kidding me? I'm not throwing them out. I'm stating facts.
Zach, I asked you a question a few minutes ago. When's the last time Russell Wilson went to an NFC Championship game?
He has been a great quarterback for years.
In his career. His overall career, he's a great quarterback. He's probably a Hall of Famer. I'm not doubting that. Is he great right now?
Yes.
We'll find out. I don't know, because the Seahawks have not been that great over the last couple of years. And Russell Wilson has been a part of that. He's been hurt. He has
been great.
I mean, look,
his offensive line has been a revolving door, and his defense, they had to reset because the Legion of Boom left.
Again, let's go back to
follow it. But I will remember and register that you do not think Russell Wilson is a great quarterback right now.
I
will write that in a diary somewhere.
That's what the fresh start is. Right now,
that's what you stated. You do not think he's a great quarterback.
Stop talking for a second, because you're going to hold my receipt against me. So get my receipt correct. So make sure you have my receipt correct. Okay.
You don't think Russell Wilson's a great quarterback right now?
As of right now, on July 22nd, 2022, he has to prove himself that your receipt? Still great.
Is that your receipt?
I'm trying to talk and you're talking through it. So you're ruining my receipt.
You asked me a question.
And you will shut up.
I answered it. Is that the correct receipt?
I was talking through the receipt and you weren't paying attention because you were talking. So let's move on.
No, is that the correct receipt? I will not move on until you confirm.
I want you to know what my receipt needs to be. To make sure, can you repeat back to me what my take is?
I just did. You weren't
No,
listening.
do it again. Can you repeat back to me what my
You do
take
not
is?
believe Russell Wilson is a great quarterback right now.
Yes, but he can prove that he is.
So yeah, I had your receipt right the entire time. That's what I've been talking about.
Okay, so go back, skeptical, believer, or out. Let's
All
get
right.
back on the Titans thing. We've been way off all over the place today.
Believe, skeptical, out, franchise philosophy. You talk about the Tennessee Titans. Building a Super Bowl contending roster, right? A lot of things have happened. You've had Tannehill, you've got signing of Henry, you've got trading away A.J. Brown, drafting Traylon Burks, trading for Robert Woods, signing Bud Dupree and Harold Landry, getting Danico Autry. I mean, the list, Zach Cunningham's involved in that, and then drafting a bunch of corners very high. Do you believe in that? Sawyer is out. I mean, he is the first comment that we've read on this question, and he is out. That is pretty interesting. Mark Jones says he believes. Steven says believes. Skeptical coming in from Titans, Kyle and Jonathan. Matt Drew just says screw AJ, which is interesting. Skeptical from Jabu. Believe from CJ. Will Dotson is out on the philosophy. Jeff Rubel, Big Ten Jeff, says skeptical. Their spending / draft picks are head scratching at times. Mark Jones says believe. Skeptical from Jarrell. Scott trusts Vrabel. And Vrabel doesn't construct the roster, but he does coach the roster. He does have some influence. I think that's been confirmed. Eddie says skeptical. Henry says skeptical. Ethan says skeptical. Reg says skeptical. Whoa. Alex says out. Scared money don't make money. Pay your elite players. I mean, I think they've paid all of their elite players except for A.J. Brown. That was the one elite player that they drafted that they refused to pay or did not pay and traded him away. G-Man says skeptical. Bobby is skeptical. Jason is skeptical. George is skeptical. So, I mean, overall, Austin, the consistent from the chat is skeptical. You know, Zach says skeptical. Here's a couple of trusts. I mean, Carlos says that he trusts the process. Believe coming in from Carlos and Max says believe.
So if I were to rank the volume of answers, I think skeptical is number one, believes two, and there are seldom outs, right?
Correct.
And so, like, I think we have to understand the conversation. Just like Sin City Titan is too simple to understand my point on Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson's a Hall of Fame quarterback. Yes. Is he still playing at the top of his game in 2022? We'll find out.
No,
but
that's
again,
not the question.
Hold on. I'm just
the receipt is registered.
Time out. Stop. I'm using this as a freaking bridge to explain the other point. So, what's the question here? Do you believe? Are you skeptical or out on the philosophy? The philosophy is different than the results because sure, they've made mistakes. Yes, Tannehill made mistakes in the playoffs and threw 3 interceptions partly on the shoulders of Todd Downing's bad play calling. Yes, they've made mistakes when it comes to drafting in the first round. But the philosophy, I think, is more right than it is wrong. So I don't think it would be very intelligent to be out on the philosophy because all they've done since John Robinson has taken over as GM is win football games. Like they have like the second or third longest winning streak in the entire NFL over years. So it's since 2016, they've been 9-7 or better. They've gone to playoff several times. They've won playoff games. They've hosted playoff games. They've won the division back-to-back years. That hadn't been done since 2008. And well, really ever. They've never gone back-to-back division titles. And then they have a coach of the year. So the philosophy you should believe in. And also, who else have they allowed to walk that deserve the big contract? Because like they're paying their players. A.J. Brown didn't happen this year. And I think we can all agree that sucks. It sucks overall, 10,000 foot view that A.J. Brown is no longer a Tennessee Titan. It sucks. But they have paid so many other guys that deserve to be here and deserve that contract and dished out millions and millions and millions of dollars in signing bonuses and salary cap and restructured deals. They traded for Julio Jones when you all wanted to. So there's all these things. The philosophy you should believe in. They've made some mistakes and missed on Isaiah Wilson and Rashawn Evans and some other, but like A.J. Brown's an outlier. Like Jack Conklin, who everybody else is bringing up now in the chat. Like you got to remember what that situation was. Like, Jack Conklin did not get the 5th-year option at $16 million because he had a significant knee injury and a concussion that cost him a lot of year 3. You had to decide after that year 3. It was dumb to pick up that 5th-year option at that point. He balled out in year 4, and the Browns paid him $20 million to be their right tackle. It was not smart business for the Titans to pay Jack Conklin $20 million to be their right tackle when they just paid Lawan the year before. So they've had good business. They signed Harold Landry. They signed Jarrell Casey. They've signed Ryan Tannehill and Derrick Henry. And Bud Dupree in free agency. They brought in Malcolm Butler. They brought in Logan Ryan. They brought in a lot of guys. And so, like, the philosophy works. Sean says, they let Jayon go to Vegas because they drafted a better player in the 6th round who is so much cheaper in David Long Jr. Hell, they went and claimed Zach Cunningham, and then they restructured his contract to keep him here for longer. So, like, the philosophy you should believe in. Like, they missed on A.J. Brown, and that sucks. However way you want to go about that, that sucks. But the philosophy is still proving to win games and put you in the right position.
Here's the difficult situation with A.J. Brown, because it's the temperature in the room. And the room yields wide receiver 1, right? Like, everybody in the league is paying. And this is a trend, right? This is, I mean, there used to be a trend in football, boys and girls. The wishbone was run. You had to go find your fullback, your running back. That used to be the trend. The hard part for me, and why I am skeptical, I think you brought up a lot of valid points, Austin. I think I agree with the majority of them. I think the hard part is I'm skeptical on the philosophy on constructing a roster to win a Super Bowl, is because that is not necessarily how Super Bowls have been won the last couple of years. And the difference is, look at the last 3 quarterbacks. Great, great, and great. We just talked about it, right? And it's Patrick Mahomes, it's Matthew Stafford, it's Tom Brady. All 3 of those have won Super Bowls the last 3 years. The Titans don't have that. Here's one thing that we also tend to forget. The Titans, the Browns put their name in the hat for Deshaun Watson. The Titans took their name out of the hat for Tom Brady, right? Correct? That was confirmed. Yeah. They decided to go to Ryan Tannehill. So I cannot say that I completely, utterly believe in what they're doing. I think they are doing a lot of great things. I think I like what they've done defensively. And you know what, Austin? It shouldn't be a surprise. They should construct an unbelievable defense. Their head coach is, an unbelievable defensive lineman, right? He's a defensive-minded head coach. That is how he thinks. Defense wins. The reason why the Patriots were so damn good is because they had the greatest quarterback of all time and a stellar defense. That was the recipe. I still am skeptical because of some of the moves that they have made in the last several years. Make me skeptical on the recipe that has been proven to work to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, the Tom Brady thing
is a thing.
Is very interesting, right? Because at that time, we didn't know exactly like what Tom Brady wanted to do. We didn't know how long he wanted to play, and you just went to the AFC Championship game by beating Tom Brady in his house on the way to it. And things were running great. And you had this 11-game sample size of Ryan Tannehill that was just absurdly explosive and impressive. And you had Derrick Henry. And I rewind back to different times, February of 2020, before the world turned. But it was is Tom Brady and Derrick Henry going to work? Like, Tom Brady's a shotgun guy. Derrick Henry needs to be in the I formation.
Tom Brady's going to make it work.
No, but
Tom Brady works everywhere he's gone. You can't. So the answer is yes. No. You can't even ask that question.
But Tom Brady has worked everywhere he's gone because he's dictated what he does. And so again, that's
right. That's the point.
And you weren't guaranteed to get Tom Brady. We don't know the back channeling that
But
happened.
they took their name out of the hat. Mike Vrabel and Tom Brady. That was the best thing that the Tennessee Titans. When Peyton Manning went to the Denver Broncos, Peyton had the Tennessee connection, but there was no true connection with him and Bud Adams and Mike Munchak.
I don't know.
There was not. No. Not Mike Vrabel and Tom Brady. They're buddies. They go to dinner. They're pals. They go to horse races together.
Yes, they're great friends. That's awesome. And sometimes that doesn't work. I don't know what. Maybe Mike Vrabel wanted no part of that. I don't know. Maybe he wanted no part of being Tom Brady's head coach. We don't know.
But my whole point is Brady was the solution.
Yeah, I mean, how would things be very different if Tom Brady was the Titans quarterback? Absolutely. And we had so many conversations about that short 4 to 6 weeks. And God, I would have loved to have Tom Brady in Nashville. Don't get me wrong. But, they made the football decision and the business decision to stick with Tannehill and Derrick Henry as a unit rather than go after Tom Brady and maybe risk on losing both.
So I'm going to sum this up to 3 things on why I'm more skeptical than believe. I'm not out. I mean, you can't be out.
Well, okay, go ahead.
But I have 3 things. And these are the things that I kind of point to that raise my antenna. The Brady thing is something, and I think we've just talked through that. They took their name out of the hat. I thought that could have really changed the franchise. It was a tough decision, but when you make decisions, you figure out what the results are, right? And we know what the results are.
You got to live with it.
Tom Brady got a Super Bowl. The Titans didn't. That's the result. The second thing is A.J. Brown. And the results still haven't happened on that. But my gut, and this is my opinion, right? Because it is my opinion, is I thought that they should have paid A.J. Brown. I thought they lowballed the offer at the beginning. I thought A.J. did not help the cause. So it is on both sides. So that's number 2. And I think number 3, you have to look at John Robinson's first-round draft picks that he's actually selected. And that has not been good. I mean, it just hasn't. Isaiah Wilson, John Robinson will be known as the general manager who drafted the worst first-round draft pick in the history of the National Football League. You've said it. I've said it. Everybody said it.
Yeah.
He also drafts injured players. Rashaan Evans was a draft pick. He was bad for a first-round pick, right? I mean, he just wasn't good. He's got to be a lot better. Jeffrey Simmons was stellar, and I think we have to recognize that. Christian Fulton hasn't played. He was hurt when he was drafted. He's still hurt. It's just what it is. Nobody cares.
Caleb
right?
Farley.
Caleb Farley. So Caleb Farley's now in on this. The first-round draft picks have not worked out. So those are my 3. Brady, A.J. Brown, and first-round draft picks kind of tend to make me more skeptical than believe.
But we have to look at the philosophy, though. We are challenging in this question the philosophy, not necessarily the results of the philosophy, because the philosophy makes sense. Isaiah Wilson as a draft pick at 29 overall, that makes sense from a philosophy standpoint. 6'5", 330 pounds, athletic, 20 years old. Would you get a 5th-year option of control when you did not have a glaring hole in your starting lineup on offense or defense? That philosophy makes sense. Isaiah Wilson happened to be an idiot, and that's the Titans' fault for drafting an idiot with that spot. Caleb Farley is a philosophy. Top 12 talent, hurt, drops to 22. Again, you don't really have a glaring hole. Wide receiver would have been awesome at that spot, but you really don't have a glaring hole. So you draft the guy who has a highest ceiling to maybe see if that lottery pick turns out. And so, because what John Robinson's done is draft really well in rounds 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Correct.
And his philosophy on the first round pick is shoot for the stars. Go for what you might think, especially once they got turned around, right? Early on, you got to find Jack Conklin who can start right now. Maybe a low ceiling, but he can play for you right now. Rashaan Evans filled a hole right now in year 1, right? Corey Davis, you had to have a wide receiver right there in year 1. And it didn't have, it had a lower ceiling, but whatever. But so that's the philosophy there. I think the philosophy makes sense. They've made mistakes, like I said. And to your quarterback thing, the Tom Brady situation is true, but the Titans' philosophy is to have the best quarterback they could possibly get. But their philosophy isn't let's move on from a above average good quarterback in Ryan Tannehill to the unknown that could ruin the rest of the roster construction.
No, they hedged their bet by drafting Malik Willis. They found value in a quarterback that fell, that was projected to be the first quarterback pick to the draft. Kenny Pickett ended up being that, and they drafted value. They did what was correct in this year's draft. The issue is, what is the ceiling? Did they just, and this is fair, did they just draft the same type of guy with a low ceiling, right? Now, maybe they get a diamond in the rough and find their Dak Prescott or find their great quarterback that is Russell Wilson still to this day. Maybe they find that. I also want to note on Russell Wilson, you know how many interceptions that man threw last year?
No, how many?
6.
For good.
No. That's great. That ain't good, bud. That's great. I just want to note that. So they have now drafted the 3rd round, and are they in the same? Now, look, if you get rid of Malik Wilson, he doesn't work out, hey, no sweat, he's a 3rd round pick. But how can they create that next great quarterback? Because that's what this league is. Look how many 1st round picks, Austin, were on the Los Angeles Rams last year.
And they acquired him from a million different directions.
And look how many 1st round picks were on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers the year before. I mean, again, this is a new era of football. It's not Terrell Davis, Emmitt Smith.
But like the Rams,
it's also not Tom Brady.
The Rams
Favre.
1st round picks were guys that were legit dudes that they brought in via trade for other 1st round picks. Some of the Bucs 1st round picks, their own, right? And then Leonard Fournette, who flamed out in Jacksonville, and second chance 1st round picks that the Bucs made work.
Right, but the point of my 3rd selection, which is the Titans aren't great at 1st round picks. If they would have traded those 1st round picks for guaranteed better players like the Rams did, Isaiah Wilson wouldn't even be around, right? He would have been traded away and you would have gotten a valued player because you know what you have. That's the Bucs did the exact same thing, right? Like that's what they do. And that's what works. And the Titans drafting philosophy, look what they've done. They traded away a known commodity. The Eagles are taking the philosophy of the Bucs and the Rams. We're going to trade away our 1st round pick because we know A.J. Brown is dominant. The Titans are taking the philosophy of we're still drafting. We're going to bet. We're going to bet our money on Treylon Burks.
Well, I mean, they traded their 2nd round pick away for Julio Jones. It didn't work, but they did it. So like, they're not against trading away picks.
But we all know that was the first real time that they have actually traded like that, a blockbuster for that type of player. And we all knew Julio Jones. Look, I'm not going to sit here and say that I thought Julio Jones was a bad trade. At the time, I was like, could be awesome.
Yeah, everybody wanted it to happen.
He didn't have the tread left on his tire, right? And, at the end of the day, it's somebody's fault.
And George is saying no one has done what the Rams have done to this point. People are starting to think differently because the Rams' philosophy just got proven with money, right? And being able to do that. So we'll try to see how many other teams start to copycat that and if they have the cash to pull it off.
I mean, not to the degree, but the Chiefs traded away to get Patrick Mahomes. I mean, they did that. He didn't fall to them.
And they moved up 15 spots from 27 to 12.
Come on, guys. 27 to 12.
To 10. But again, that was a risk. That was a risk where either the entire scouting department got raises or fired.
The Chicago Bears, everybody got fired. Mitch Trubisky, right? So, but it has been happening. You can't sit there and say this is the first time.
But the Chiefs had Andy Reid and Alex Smith. They were able to make it steadied until the Mahomes project was ready. So
Jared Goff and Sean McVay, it's the same thing. You just described it.
What do you mean?
They had it. The Rams were steady.
No, dude. I'm talking about to make the Mahomes trade. They had the ability to go out and make that Mahomes trade because Andy Reid and Alex Smith could bridge the gap. Like they trade away Jared Goff to get Matthew Stafford. because that Jared Goff contract was
but
terrible.
they bridged the gap.
Never mind. It's apples and oranges. It's not the same situation.
But what I'm saying, it's been done before. So the question what's the question? Read the question, Austin. Which is
believe, skeptical, or out on the Titans' philosophy of building a Super Bowl contending roster.
Right. So skeptical or believe or out on building a Super Bowl roster, right? And the key word in all of that is philosophy. The Rams and Chiefs, that was a philosophy of what they did. The Titans have told us their philosophy: run the ball, play good defense, coach hard, don't have penalties, and pray to your God that Ryan Tannehill plays above his means.
I mean, that's their football philosophy. That's not necessarily their like roster construction philosophy.
Well, it is, because they've constructed their roster around Derrick Henry, right?
Because that's who they had, right? Now they're being smart. Like,
well,
they're
they
not
drafted Derrick Henry,
but they're not being dumb college coach who recruits a player that doesn't fit his system but forces him into it. Like, the Titans, I think, are good at acknowledging what their team's strengths are and playing to it.
Not Jonathan brings up, you got to love ball.
Yeah. And Xavier's right. We've been on this question the whole damn show.
Well, Russell Wilson took up a little bit of time.
I blinked and it's 50. We've been on here for 56 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good conversation.
And so I want to get to George's comment here in a second, because it goes towards a philosophy thing that I think is the biggest difference maker for George's comment here. But first, let me tell you guys about the Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Whenever you get hurt in life, know where to go. Boneandjointtn.org. You click make an appointment. You type in your name, you type in the injury, what's hurting, and it sorts through the doctors who specialize in those injuries. As simple as that. Boneandjointtn.org.
A to Z Sports are powered by BetMGM. Download the app today. Use that promo code right there on the screen. For users, this is pretty great. No run first inning Friday. No run first inning Friday. I'll say it one more time. No run first inning Friday. Risk-free bet up to $25. For users, right there, we're hooking you if you've already signed up. If you haven't, use the promo code ATOZ Sports. Download the app today. That's BetMGM.
All right, so George says the Titans are very close to a Super Bowl roster minus the quarterback right now. Unfortunately, the quarterback is the most important and hardest part. And again, the Titans' philosophy is not to have an average quarterback. That's their situation, right? And so we have to understand that the philosophy is not wrong. The quarterback might not have a high enough ceiling for them to get there, but the philosophy isn't to just bottom out and waste all the other building that they've been doing.
So this is how I think about it. Ryan Tannehill, I think, philosophically, for the Titans, was a bridge quarterback. But that bridge was sturdier than what they thought, right? Ryan Tannehill outperformed. I mean, he was stellar in 2020, right? And he got the Titans to back-to-back playoff and AFC South titles, right? But now he has a ceiling. Now the bridge is starting to come apart, right? The bridge is now not as sturdy as it once was.
Well, but why? Is it because of the supporting cast of the bridge? Because that's the confusing part of the Titans.
Because of play. At the end of the day, and Austin, it's unfortunate, and you can say it's one game, but it's a game. And like Cam Newton's biggest game of his career was the Super Bowl. He lost. And what happened after that?
He never really bounced back from it.
Ryan Tannehill's biggest game of his career thus far was at home, the number 1 seed against the Cincinnati Bengals, when he had 2 minutes to go get 3 points and win the game. He threw an interception. It just is what it is. He may never get back to that point again. I said this, Austin, to you pre-show conversation. And this is like, man, I hate to be negative, and I have been negative because of Tannehill, and it has kind of changed my mindset on the Tennessee Titans. Last year was their year. Last year was their Super Bowl run. They had everything lined up with Derrick Henry coming back. If Derrick Henry wouldn't have come back, I wouldn't say this. But Derrick Henry came back into the playoffs. Julio Jones was there. A.J. Brown was there. Their defense played great. And Ryan Tannehill wet the bed. That was their opportunity. we all believe that the odds are the Titans will not have that number 1 seed. Well, the last time they had it was 2008. So you do the math of maybe the probable next time they'll have it.
I mean, like, it helps to have it, yes, but I mean, like,
it's not the end all be all, but is the easiest road to the Super Bowl. Mike
yes.
Vrabel's words, not mine.
No, true. And that's even changed more because of the extra playoff team where there's only 1 bye now.
And I think that this offseason, which was the craziest NFL free agency, March was the craziest month in the history of the NFL offseason. I think too many teams have passed the Titans by.
Well, and we'll figure out because, just as the Titans had played 91 players because of injuries last year, the same thing could happen to these other AFC teams too. And that's it'll
happen to one team for sure.
Yeah, but the crazy thing about the Titans the last 2 seasons, the 2020 season and the 2021 season. In 2020, record-breaking offense, unfortunately record-breaking bad defense. In the playoffs, the worst offensive performance and probably the best defensive performance, but you lost to the Ravens at home. Then, throughout last year, unbelievable defense, and then the offense littered with injuries, but everybody back in the playoffs, and you still lost. And so that's the hard thing to wrap your head around is like they were able to win 12 games with dudes off the couch, signing Buster Screen and him playing corner, making plays, signing Dontrell Hilliard and Deontay Foreman and Bobby Hart playing left tackle in LA against the Rams and that defense and them winning, Adrian Peterson for 2 weeks. Like there's just so many weird things that happened where they were able to win games and then you had everything back and it just fell apart at the end. So it's just the hard, like, there's a catch-22 with everything because you want to be able to think that they're not going to be as unlucky as they were last year.
So, and Mark, he says, Zach is just a hater. Henry will have you eating your words. Believe that.
What does that
Mark
even
Jones.
mean?
Mark Jones. No. Let me destroy Mark for a second. Nobody on this earth has believed more in Derrick Henry than I have. Like, I am the Derrick Henry guy. When he was drafted.
Austin Huff's giving you a good run for your money.
Oh, fair. Me and Austin, A to Z. There you go. The other Austin. I'll take, but don't sit there and call me like a Derrick Henry hater. I believe the Titans are a very good team. The Titans have been a very good team. Their expectations are to win the Super Bowl. It just is what it is. When you're a very good team, those are the expectations. Here is my statement. The Titans are a very good team, and last year, they had a great opportunity. This year, I believe that they can be a very good team. I just don't think that they will have as great of an opportunity. And that makes it more difficult. You have different teams with different quarterbacks, better play, all of these things. And the Titans last year, very good team, great opportunity, not the result that they wanted. It was set up for success. Austin, the other thing that I told you pre-show, damn, man, the storyline was Titans-Rams. That's what it was. Titans versus the Rams in the Super Bowl. The Titans could have taken care of business, hosted the Chiefs, in which they have beaten twice at home before, and they go to the Super Bowl, and it's a rematch. Rams-Titans. We're playing McNair highlights till we're blue in the face. We're on cloud 9. The chat is on fire. This is our dream. This is redemption. No more 1 yard short. It's 1 yard in the end zone. But Ryan Tannehill prevented that from his poor play on his really good team with a great opportunity.
I'm not arguing that. And so, yeah, it's just I think Tannehill will bounce back. I think he'll have a much better year. I really do. So,
Johnny, I am the biggest Derrick Henry supporter ever. I'm more biggest than any tremendous Derrick Henry supporter. Okay, thank you, Johnny, for your comment.
You left off the very, very.
I don't support that even rendition of a Trump impression. So I do know how bad I am.
All right. Well, off of your, because somebody's like, Zach's done here killing the fans. And Zach, please stop. Zach's making me depressed. So
it's the truth.
All right, so let's just jump to good news so we can all feel better than what you just made everybody in the comments.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we can't. That's fair. I mean, we've gone a minute 5. It's been a really good conversation. I don't even want to know. To be honest, Austin, I don't care what the chat has to say of Kyler Murray versus Ryan Tannehill. That was our next one.
I don't either.
I do want to know if the chat thinks that Russell Wilson is great now. Well, I really do.
So again, Sin City Titan has been just peppering the chat like every 4 minutes at saying, Austin, answer the question, you coward. Look, Russell Wilson, when he retires, will be known as a great NFL quarterback. Is he still a great quarterback today? I don't know. He's on a completely different team.
You said no. You didn't say I don't know. You said no.
At first, I said, I don't know.
And then you said no.
And then I said, I would not automatically lump him into the group of great quarterbacks. I would have him outside, like labeling great quarterbacks going into this year. I think there's Rodgers, Mahomes, Tom Brady, because he still is. And
I just asked the chat, great or not great? Right now, Russell Wilson. It's the receipt. Great or not great?
He can. Right now, I do not.
Look, we're asking the chat. We got to get the chat.
That's fine. Right now, I am not putting him in the top category of great quarterbacks, which is maximum 4 guys. He can join that group this season. Right now, he's a top 10 quarterback. He's probably top 8, top 7. But I don't consider him. I think there's a separation between those 3 greats and then Russell Wilson down here. Matt Stafford is kind of a fringe great. I know he just won the Super Bowl. That's awesome and all. But he's still fringe great. I'm not putting Joe Burrow in great. Sure as hell I'm not putting Justin Herbert in great. Josh Allen's the one. If I was going to include one more quarterback to join Rodgers, Mahomes, Brady as being great right now going into the year, it would be Josh Allen over Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson's that next group with Burrow. Is he going to be great this year on a new team? I don't know. I'm not going to put him right there with those 4.
Austin. On a 7-win team last year, he threw 25 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. The year before, he threw 40 touchdowns. Like, Russell Wilson is great. He's going to make you eat crow this year. I know that.
And Honky Tonk says Stafford's going to the Hall of Fame. Yeah, he won a Super Bowl. He probably is going to the Hall of Fame because he puts up ridiculous numbers. But Russell Wilson's also going to the Hall of Fame. But it doesn't guarantee that he's going to be great this year with a new team. That's my point. That's fine. You can believe that, but I'm not willing to put him in that top 4 with those top 4 guys.
If you got Russell Wilson on your team, would you say he was a great quarterback?
I say he could be, yeah. I mean, but again, it's a brand new situation.
If the Titans got Russell Wilson, they traded away somehow, some way, this hypothetical ifs and buts, beers and nuts. Russell Wilson is now a Tennessee Titan. Would you say the Titans got a great quarterback?
I would say they got a great situation.
So you said no. You're crazy.
Zach, he is a Hall of Famer.
I'm done. It's over. I'm done.
He is a Hall of Famer. Peyton
We're
Manning
not talking
was a Hall
about
of
that.
Famer.
You are deflecting to a conversation.
I'm not.
You got the wrong receipt, pal. You got the wrong receipt.
Again, he's got a new situation. I'm tiering my quarterbacks. I think the top tier quarterbacks going into the year are in no order: Rodgers, Mahomes, Brady, Allen. Then I think second tier, Russell Wilson's right there.
It's not what we're talking about.
I'm not like a Russell Wilson hater.
You're in a different state. I don't know where you are. You're not on topic. You're not on task.
7 miles away from you.
You're not on task.
I'm just not putting him in that tier because he's on a new team with a new situation. I don't know what's going to happen. It could be great.
He's not great. We'll find out.
God, man, I'm just saying that.
I know what you're saying, and I think it's wildly erratic and doesn't make sense.
Russell Wilson this season, right now, is not in the top tier of quarterbacks in the NFL.
You're saying he's not great. You've said he's not great. You're not going to backpedal.
I understand that, but
you do not think Russell Wilson is great.
I'm trying to get through your dome that I am categorizing these quarterbacks differently than you, which is fine.
I don't care. That's not what we're talking about.
I have a different definition of great than you do. Great means different things. It's not like it's a
obviously that's the point. Which is wild.
I know that.
Okay, let's get to some good news. That was some crazy news. Let's get to some good news.
So ridiculous, unnecessary. All right, ain't that good news? But first, tell everybody about Farm Bureau Health Plans.
He does have a great nickname, Mr. Unlimited. Man,
is that his nickname?
Mr. Unlimited.
I thought it was Danger Russ.
No, it's Mr. Unlimited. But you got to say it like that. Unlimited right there. Unlimited right here. Farm Bureau Health Plans. Unlimited success. You talk about great. Great is fbhp.com/A to Z. Better coverage, better rates, better service. That's what I have because I switched earlier this year. 200 plus locations across the state of Tennessee. It's very easy. Unfortunately, I've had to use them a couple of times this year, but things happen, right? It happens. And when I had the flu, I had to do a teledoc conference. Well, Farm Bureau Health Plans helped me with that. No charge. I got the prescription medicine that I needed. Man, fbhp.com. Take a health assessment today. Then you'll get a quote. Then you'll realize, wow, I probably need to change my health plan. And then you'll say, well, I'm just like Zach, just like A to Z. I did fbhp.com/A to Z. And now I'm a part of Farm Bureau Health Plans. Better coverage, better rates, better service.
Don't forget, download the BetMGM app. And if you've already done that and you're a current user, existing users, we got No Run First Inning Friday for you coming up today in Major League Baseball. It's pretty easy. You find a baseball game today, and you find in the game props the No Run First Inning, and that is risk-free up to $25. And we're also going to have a suggestion on which game to bet a no run first inning Friday risk-free bet. So you get that money back if only one run is scored. So stay tuned to our social media where we have that suggestion for no run first inning Friday. Time for some good news. All right, any good news this week? Let's get some good news. Gabriel says it's good news. Just a few weeks ago, hit a full pay rate at UPS and making just shy of $40 an hour.
Hey, way to go, Gabriel.
Yeah, Derek says Mr. Unlimited is top 3 worst nicknames ever.
Ah, boo.
All right, more good news. Zach, what are you seeing in the chat there?
Let's see here. Good news. Training camp starts tomorrow.
No, that's not. Who?
The Las Vegas Raiders. If Xavier's a Raiders fan,
maybe. I think Xavier's a Titans fan, but I believe rookies and quarterbacks and undrafted free agents report tomorrow. Training camp does not start tomorrow. Training camp starts practice on Wednesday.
Nate's burner has good news. 2 hours until he's out of Facebook jail, and then he's free.
Nate's currently posting on Facebook right now, though.
Yeah, but there's different jail regulations.
He's in minimum security Facebook jail.
Yeah. Jarrell's going to see Nope tonight. The movie. That's interesting. I'm curious to see if that's any good.
I've never heard of it.
Eric says good news. Nope, I believe is Jordan Peele. I believe he's the director.
Oh, okay. I've seen that. Yeah.
Eric says good news, golfing this afternoon and all day tomorrow. So a little golfing weekend. Good news from Nick, going on vacation for a week, going to the Football Hall of Fame, then Niagara Falls. That's very cool. I've always wanted to go to the Hall of Fame. I'm not going to go this year with the Raiders and Jags game, but maybe one day. You've been.
Yeah, kind of.
Kind of. Yeah, not to bring that up. Let's go back to good news. Big Ten Jeff says, good news, have some family friends haven't seen in 10 years. They're coming down for 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
That is very good news. Just arrived in San Antonio from Juan. Going to visit the family and meet Tony Parker. Oh, Tony
Just
Parker.
got a lunch plan with Tony.
Let's see. Tony says, good news. They found small cancer cells on his mom and they are removing them today. She's in surgery right now. Prayers. Well, prayers up from the A to Z crew to your mom. Cancer is obviously no joke and it affects pretty much everybody in the Kevin Bacon web of life. And so big prayers up to you, Tonez One on YouTube. Jazz and Rib Festival starts today. That is good news right there. Good news, woke up on this side of the grass. I don't know whether Paul is happy, high, or in a different state. I will go with my good news. My good news, and if you've watched this show, I am a uniform aficionado. That's guru, as you would say. Very, I mean, everybody knows my Titans jersey talent skills. You pick a game, I can tell you their jersey set. My good news is finally the NFL has released the one shell rule, and we have gotten some pretty sick things over the last several weeks.
Yeah.
The Cowboys uniforms, which are like, these are the Cowboy Thanksgiving throwbacks that I saw Tony Romo and Marion Barber, the late Marion Barber. They had 5 touchdowns one Thanksgiving game that I saw in Texas Stadium years ago. Those Giants throwbacks of the big blue wrecking crew, those are sick. The white Bengal tiger, those things are going to be nasty. But you also, the Texans, I don't necessarily like. And even the Panthers, I don't necessarily like. But
I think the Panthers have one of the most underrated color schemes in football.
Fair. But they haven't changed their uniform since they came to the league in 1995. They're the only team. There's a long-standing
you don't have to
newer
fix
franchise.
what's not broken.
Right?
I
the
think
Jags have turned over a ton.
Oh, God. The Jags had that gradient helmet that one year.
And that was their AFC championship run.
Oh, God. They were so close to beating Tom Brady in that game, too.
But my good news, those are starting. The Jets are about to release a new throwback helmet, which you got to think would be the Joe Namath era. But my good news, I love this. Like, I am a kid in a candy store. I search it out. I read blogs. I kind of know what's going to be on the horizon for the Tennessee Titans next year. As I've heard some rumors swirling. So, the Titans did not do it this year. Similar to the reason why the Tampa Bay Buccaneers didn't do it this year with their creamsicles is because there's back orders on white shells. The funny thing is, who figured out how to get white helmets?
Oh, yeah, the Cowboys and the cheap-ass Bengals. So, the Titans are in between those two teams.
Right? And so, the Titans are on the horizon, though. And next year's Titans throwbacks are going to be nasty.
Yeah, for sure. So that's your good news. All right,
nasty in a good way.
You said the Bucks also missed out on the white shells too.
Yeah, they'll go next year. The Falcons released their red helmets, which are very cool.
Yeah, nice. My good news is I came out champion with the top score of the A to Z crew on our bowling event Wednesday night for Buck's birthday bash.
Well, Jerron actually did.
No. For the A to Z crew, Jerron does not count. Jerron, who is just like a stud, was bowling multiple games in different lanes at the same time and went.
He didn't count. That's fair.
Jerron bowled a 200 on one lane and a 186 on our lane at the same damn time. No, I had the A to Z team high. 157. I came one pin from my first ever turkey, and it pissed me off. I had 2 strikes.
And it should have been.
Oh, it looked good. It looked pure. I went full hands up in the air, and I missed it by 1. So, so 157. I will give props. Producer Reed, who works for us, he had, if you have to count up the 4 games we played, Reed's pin count way higher than mine. But I had that 157, which is the high mark. I beat Reed out by 3 pins on the last game. 157, I think, is the highest score I've bowled as an adult.
I haven't bowled many games as an adult, but that was enjoyable, right?
It was fun.
It was fun. So, bowling, you don't bowl enough.
No, because, more bowling would be good for everybody. I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's my good news. 157.
It was a stellar game.
Yeah, producer Reed came out of the shadows to bowl. He brought his own ball. He brought his own shoes, which was smart because they had limited shoes. So I was wearing a size too big shoes.
I mean, he was rolling like a 20-pounder. This is a 20-pound ball. He had a 23-pound ball before. These are all different things. And I love how he put it. And I was like, man, well, I guess it makes sense. He goes, yeah, heavier the weight is, those pins come crashing down.
So that was really fun. So we'll have to do more A to Z bowling events just so I can try to. No, actually, never mind. We're done. I've got the high score, so no more A to Z bowling.
I think that could be our new charity event in 2023.
All right, everybody, have a great weekend. We'll be back on Monday morning. Buck Rising will be back on Sunday as well. He took the last couple nights off from prime time for his birthday and right before camp starts. So next week is going to be big because training camp starts for the Titans. So we'll have an announcement next Wednesday as well. So big things on the horizon for A to Z Sports. Have a great weekend, everybody. And we'll see you guys on Monday morning. Appreciate it as always.